We have a breaking story just posted to the RTR newsfeed regarding, get this, a SWAT team called in by the Department of Education to raid a home and collect a debt. We'll get Sheriff Richard Mack's exclusive take on the increased use of SWAT teams nationwide and Congressman Ron Paul's remarks on the Department of Education after this ABC News 10 clip.
This is what they did to my door.
At 6 this morning, a SWAT team surprised Kenneth Wright at his front door.
In my underwear. Before I get to the door, I hear him say, hit it. And I get ready to hit the door, and they hit the door. They almost hit me. So I said, hold on. They hit it again. I said, hold on.
But the SWAT team busted in, taking Wright.
They come grab me by my neck and drag me out my house to right there in the grass.
Thrown to the ground and handcuffed, law enforcement then searched his house.
And they put me in the backseat of a police car for over 6 hours. From 6 o'clock to 12:30, they had me handcuffed in the back of a police car with nothing on but my ripped up underwear that they ripped in the yard.
Wright says they also woke his 3 children, holding them for 2 hours, but they failed to find their quarry, Wright's estranged wife. Wright later complained to Stockton's mayor and police, but the city pointed to the U.S. Department of Education.
They say you owe a student loan and you gotta pay it. I just had my door kicked in because of this.
With the help of the Stockton Police Department, News 10 was able to contact one of the federal agents who was at the search this morning, who gave us a Washington, D.C. number for the Office of the Inspector General, who confirmed it was the Department of Education who conducted the search, but they can't discuss anything in the case until it's closed, not even if it's policy to break in and handcuff people who default on student loans.
They put this here and they said, we fixed the hole. The hole is the least of my worry.
Wright says all he wants is an apology and a new door, and he has this warning to former students that the federal government's coming to collect in a big way. People that have student loans out there or people that owe money, please pay your bills, take care of your credit. If you don't believe me, this could be you one morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. In Stockton, Lee Painter, News 10.
This looks like a stunt by the Department of Education to set a high-profile example to scare people to pay back their student loans. However, this story joins the recent epidemic of police assaults against the American people, such as the SWAT team murder of Jose Jorena, the Indiana Supreme Court ruling that allows police to enter your home without a warrant, and of course, the university students in Macomb, Illinois, who were assaulted by SWAT teams at a block party. Here now to tell you why we are seeing a rise in SWAT team raids is former Arizona Sheriff Richard Mack.
I think what we have here, if you look at what has happened with SWAT teams nationwide, first of all, they're way overused. And now police departments and sheriff's offices across the country want to attempt to justify all the expense of having officers trained and all the equipment necessary for SWAT teams, so they have to justify all that expense by using them more frequently. And what has happened historically is that they go on calls where they are not needed, and calls that could be easily handled by a couple of patrol officers.
Given the state of the economy, many people are unable to pay back their student loans. The Department of Education, working in conjunction with law enforcement, is a terrifying precedent that must be stopped. Congressman Ron Paul had this to say about the Department of Education.
In a free society and in a constitutional society, if we followed our Constitution, the federal government wouldn't even be involved in public education, and of course we would be much better off for it. The more the federal government's been involved in education, the worse the education has gotten.
The use of SWAT teams to enforce student loans provides yet another example why education should be handled at the state and local level, and why homeschooling families should be encouraged and not threatened. What happened here is an absurd abuse of power from the federal level and should not be tolerated by a free people. Wall Street bankers are handed trillions of dollars in bailout money because they can't pay their loans. However, as the average American finds themselves unable to pay their mortgages and student loans, is this how the federal government will respond? Bailouts for bankers and SWAT teams for the people. At this rate, it will not be long before the federal government triggers an open revolution. For the Reality Report from RTR Studios, I'm Gary Franchi.